Welcome, everyone. This is the Graduate School of Professional Accounting info session for the Enrollment Management Open Houses. And my name is Kellyanne Frankel. I am the Admissions and Recruiting Specialist for the GSPA. So GSPA is our acronym for Graduate School of Professional Accounting. So you'll hear that a lot. And I'm here with some of our students. So very excited to get the program rolling. So some information on our applications. Our applications are open. So applications for May 2026 are open now. Our deadlines are November 15th, February 15th, and April 1st. So you can go on D'Amore-McKim, D'Amore-McKim.northeastern.edu/apply, and you can access our application. If you have any questions about that or encounter any issues, our contact information will be at the end of the final slide. You definitely can hop on that and check out the application. November 15th is our deadline for international students. So if you are an international student interested in the MSA or the MSA really, that deadline is November 15th. We are accepting applications from students from Canada and Mexico. However, for the MSA MBA program, we have paused international admissions at this time. If you have any questions, again, you can contact us, and the contact information will be at the end. But the MS in accounting, international students who have studied at a U.S. school and were an accounting major would be able to apply to the MSA. The MSA MBA, again, unfortunately, we are not accepting international applications, except students from Canada and Mexico. So I'm going to turn the conversation over to our current students. So I'm very excited to welcome them, and I will let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Roy. I graduated from Hamilton College 2 years ago at this point, and I had a background in mathematics. And the reason why I wanted to join this program is because I've always had an interest in business and finance, and accounting is a great way to get your foot in the door if you're interested in those disciplines.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan. I recently graduated from Connecticut College back in May. I was an economics major there with a minor in finance. My why accounting and why Northeastern kind of just begins with my passion for business. Um, at Colin, I was able to take a few classes in accounting and finance, and I found that I loved them. I was able to go back as a teaching assistant for 3 years, kind of furthered my love for that. And kind of what I learned from that with help of a mentor is how rich of a field accounting is and the opportunities that it gives you within business.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Furman. I went to Connecticut College as well. I majored in Africana Studies and I double minored in Econ and Finance. I knew that I wanted to get my MBA, and I had taken like one or two classes in accounting, and I had a mentor who was my accounting professor, and I actually enjoyed my accounting classes, and he kind of pushed this program on me, and I thought, why not get 2 degrees in 1 year?
Yeah, I'm John Pollock. I graduated from Nichols College as a corporate finance and investment major. At Nichols, I was able to start my own business and get a really good understanding of how important accounting is for growing and developing a business and really getting the insight on how it should truly operate. And that's part of the reason why I joined this program.
Excellent. Thank you. So a little bit about Northeastern and the Graduate School of Professional Accounting. We're located, right here in the heart of Boston. So campus is right between the orange line on Columbus Ave and the green line on Huntington. So it's very accessible by, bus, T, the commuter rail. So there's a lot of ways to get to campus. We're literally, about a block and a half from the Museum of Fine Arts and the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. But then we're also, about a 10-15 minute walk to like Fenway Park and the Kenmore Square area. So it's a nice campus because it's definitely a campus feel. You're in the middle of the city, but Northeastern's campus is also an arboretum. So there's about 16 acres of green space, for students to sit on some Adirondack chairs, get some sunshine in the warmer weather. So, there's definitely a campus feel. Experiential learning is a hallmark of Northeastern. So our MSA MBA students will get that in as part of their corporate residency, which is like a graduate level co-op experience for them. And then our MS in accounting students will get that as part of their curriculum. Just it's a very, we're bringing a lot of real world examples, and experience from our faculty into the classroom. The GSPA, the Graduate School of Professional Accounting, is 60 years old. So this is our 60th year. We're going to be celebrating an anniversary in September of 2025. So we're very excited about that. And there's about 4,000 alumni in the GSPA alumni network. So, and creating an alumni network, for our students is something that we do really right off the bat. So would love to hear some stories that our panelists might have about, their experiences with alumni while their time in the program.
I can start off with that. So after our first week of orientation, which was, not too rigorous, it was a good amount. It was a good time meeting professors that you're going to have. But after that first week, you're going to have a networking reception with some alumni of the program, some prospective partners from the firms that we're going to be interning at. And that's a great way just to, practice what it feels like, what it is to network in those networking settings. And you're going to have a lot of other opportunities throughout the school year to do that as well. So the program does do a great job of matching you with alumni of the program who have went through everything that you're going to go through.
Similar to what Roy was talking about, the networking events are awesome, and it's nice connecting with the alums because they know exactly what you're going through. So it's not any dull conversations. The conversations flow very, very well just because you guys have that common ground. My first encounter with an alum actually was last summer, after I had just heard about the program and was really interested in it. And this was before I applied. I had talked to an alum who actually was also an alum of Connecticut College, my undergrad. And, he had a lot of good things to say about the program. So I decided to pursue it.
You also get a good foundation for each conversation. So earlier on, it's really like, why'd you choose accounting, and kind of picking their brains about, exactly that, why they chose accounting. And that kind of leads into like tax versus audit, and then eventually which big four. So a lot of these conversations are laid out for you. So it is a very low stress situation. Everyone is there to help you. All the alumni have obviously gone through it and know exactly, what they need to say to get you to that next level.
Kind of just to add on to what everyone's already said, it's just a great opportunity for you to connect with people that are already in the industry that otherwise you probably wouldn't be able to connect with. I know in my time over the last couple of weeks doing firm visits as well as some networking events here, the amount of partners, senior managers, and people in upper level management that I've been able to speak to and then be able to network further with and be able to understand why they do certain things, why they've stayed, what they think is important to the job, and how they think. It's just skills that you'll be able to take wherever you go and whatever you do.
Excellent. Well said, everyone. I love that. So again, we have the two programs, MS in Accounting and MS in Accounting MBA. Just going to go through the two programs. We have them side by side because they are while they are very similar and the curriculum is very closely aligned and a lot of the faculty teach in both programs, they are very different. The MS in Accounting program is a 7-month program. It's an accelerated MSA that is specifically for accounting undergrads. So students that studied accounting at a U.S. school are eligible for this program. And that's because there are prerequisite courses. So in the timeline on the next slide, you'll see there's 7 prerequisite courses that are required that usually are covered in an accounting major. So that's, usually not a problem. Again, it's for accounting majors that came from a U.S. school. So international students, if you studied at, at a Boston University, University of Michigan, at any US school, you'd be eligible to apply. Again, it's 7 months. There are 2 start times to the program. The most popular is our summer 1 start. So it's at the end of May, beginning of June. Students start right after Memorial Day, and then you graduate in December. So it's a really quick timeline. That 7 months goes by really fast. So it's a, continuous, you start classes and just take them continuously till December. Great time to be entering the workforce because it's right during busy season. You're coming up on busy season. The firms are looking to staff up. We can help you, with any, career advising, if needed. There is a integrated analytics training as part of the curriculum. So, whereas the MS in Accounting MBA program, business analytics is the MBA concentration, that part of the degree. For the MS in accounting students, we've integrated a lot of that into the curriculum already. It will help you sit for the CPA exam. It will help get you to the 150 credit hours that you need to be CPA eligible. Now, for the MS in Accounting MBA program, this is a 15-month program, and it's specifically for non-accounting majors. So accounting undergrads, the MSA is a program for you. Anybody else, MSA MBA is the program for you. And it is really a great quick path into public accounting for a non-accounting major. So we have had, history majors in the program. We've had, economics majors in the program. We've had one year we had a Chinese classics student as well as like an anthropology major in the program. So really it runs the gamut, especially students coming from liberal arts background, do very well within the program. And then also once they're out, at the firms. The MS in Accounting MBA program has only 1 start time. So while the MSA, we have a summer 1 start and a fall start, the MSA MBA only starts during the summer 1 term. So it's at the end of May, beginning of June. It's the Tuesday after Memorial Day. So in 2026, the program will start on May 26th. And then there's a 4 days of orientation. And then you are off to the races with classes the next week. So again, it's 15 months, 12 months of coursework, 3 months of paid internship. And so a question for the panel about, orientation. So I know that kind of feels like, it comes and it's 4 very packed days. Do you feel that orientation helped to, get you ready for classes sort of, because it was one of those experiences where I feel is, very bonding, kind of very, like a good cohort bonding experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting to know all the people around you is definitely very important because you do step into this. I mean, for mostly everyone not knowing anyone else. So kind of being given that opportunity to meet everyone in your cohort and as soon as you possibly can start a group chat, get conversations going. It's definitely very useful for kind of the further progression of like your cohort experience.
Well, thank you for that. Again, it's a combined degree. So you would earn a Master's of Science in Accounting and your MBA. And it will help prepare you to sit for the CPA exam, as well as get you to the 150 credit hours that you need to sit for the CPA and be eligible for the licensure. So this is, really quickly is our MS in Accounting program timeline. This is the summer start timeline. So as you can see, it's that end of May, late May, end of May, beginning of June start time, where you're going to be taking classes during summer 1. You'll be taking classes during summer 2. Then you have the full fall, and then you graduate in December. So it is a very quick, accelerated program. And again, as you can see on the slide here, there is the prerequisite coursework. And again, the summer 1 is our most popular. Usually we have a cohort of about 20 to 25 students, and it is F1 compliant. So we do have a fall start, but that is not F1 compliant because there's a break in the program. Now getting to our MS in Accounting MBA program, this is our 15-month program. And you can see we've got Pause, a photo of Pause with our students there. Pause is the Northeastern, is our mascot, our Husky mascot. You'll see him around campus. You'll see him at all of the sporting events. So it's always good to see Pause. But again, the MS in Accounting, just to pivot back to the timeline here, it's that end of May, beginning of June start. As John had talked about orientation. We have 4 days of orientation, and then classes start the first week in June. No accounting experience is required for for this program. So we'd love to kind of throw it back to our student panel. So did any of you take any accounting courses prior to starting the program? And if so, what classes did you take?
I took a accounting course back in my junior year of college. It was a pretty preliminary accounting course. I don't know exactly the title of the course, but you don't necessarily need to take any accounting if you're going down the MS MBA track. But I will say it was kind of helpful in knowing the basic stuff, especially you'll learn about the accounting equation. But most of the things you'll be able to pick up as you go along, and the professors are very helpful in getting everyone acclimated.
Yeah, similar to Roy, I took accounting 1 and 2 over in Connecticut College, and then I was a teaching assistant for a couple years. Coming in like to the program, it definitely helped out knowing a couple things and having a background on like what we were doing. But pretty much 2 to 3 weeks into the program, everyone's on the same page. Like we're all learning from the exact same little textbook, understanding like where we're going from here on out. So having that background information is great, but at the same time, you're not far off from what everyone else is going to have.
Yeah, very similarly. I only had one class in accounting. And it definitely was a little bit helpful to start off and kind of have that background. But when you start the program, you do truly start from like the very basic point, like what is a debit, what is a credit, and then, build up from there. So, as Ryan just said, you do get on the same page as everyone else within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, as Ryan said, we went to the same school, so we had the same experience. But we also had some pre-work that was required before starting the course, and that definitely helps just jog your memory if you had learned a few of those things. I know I didn't know too much coming into the program, so that pre-work definitely helped out.
Excellent, excellent. I know like you have your first 2 classes are the organizational behavior and then the corporate financial reporting 1. And I think really after that first accounting class, everybody's kind of on the same page. So how's like so far has been like coursework, like, some of your professors, what types of, support do you feel like that you've been getting either through like tutoring or office hours?
I think for me, out of my whole experience, that's the thing that stands out for me, just like the support that tutors as well as professors are able to give. Me personally, I go to office hours 3 times a week with Professor Ruff, and just having that like availability to be able to meet with him for an hour a night and have him help me walk me through extra problems to like be able to understand exactly what's happening, why it's happening, has been something that's allowed me to just stay like together in this program.
Yeah, very similarly, I meet with the TAs every day that they offer it. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Um, and it's definitely very helpful. A lot of the times you can get pretty low attendance. So it almost does feel like that one-on-one where you can ask any single question that you have and they will walk it through to, any depth that you would need to fully understand it.
The class is also a very good, I wouldn't call it a tool necessarily, but you'll meet friends, in your cohort, and those are the people that are going through the same things that you're going through, and you're gonna the coursework is very rigorous, so I'm sure you're gonna be using, them as support as well, including all the other support that we have outside of the classroom.
Right, the course is definitely pretty rigorous, but it's also definitely very doable. The TAs are a huge help to me, as well as office hours. And I know some people who don't go to the TAs end up going to the library, and they'll have like a little study group with people in your cohort. So definitely doable.
I'd say on top of that, the GSPA office is also great. I know Angela does checkups with everyone just to see what support they need, if they need any extra help. So I think that's also a great resource that's helped a lot of people.
Absolutely. And that just kind of goes back into the fact that there is a 3-month corporate residency. It's part of the program. So the 3-month paid internship. Now, our panelists have not done their internship yet. but you're in the process of getting ready because the internship interviews are right around the corner. So what are some of the things that you've been doing to get ready for that?
I'd say the main thing for me so far has just been networking. One of the great opportunities we have here is just like the opportunity to network with a bunch of different people. And looking into it, all the firms practically do the same thing, but the difference is like who you're going to end up working with. So being able to connect with a bunch of different people from a bunch of different firms and like understand who I'm going to work with on my teams, understand what like energy to bring to a group or how you're going to work on a team has just been something that I've been focusing on just to prepare myself to go into that field.
Yeah, absolutely. And even on a personal side, like you do get access to sort of like building your resume, working on different interview styles, so to speak. So you do get the resources to kind of have mock interviews and be able to get an idea of what those interviews might be like when you're ready to interview at different firms, just looking at the personal side alone.
Yeah, networking is a huge part, as well as just getting a feel for each firm, like doing your own research, and also that's through networking. Just getting a feel for each firm because they do have different core values and stuff, and that's going to be a huge help.
The two big things for me, and they've touched upon it, were the networking visits and also the mock interviews. You just get so much knowledge about the field, and it's a little bit more personalized as well, because you're there in the firm visits, you're seeing people working, and you sort of start to envision yourself in that position.
Another thing that is also very useful is getting in touch with the people in the class above you, because they have gone through the experience. They've done all the interviews. They've had the corporate residency, and have various different connections. So not only will they help you make the connections that you need to, but they also give a lot of insight to everything that you're going to be doing, just months after them.
The one nice thing about coming into the program during summer, the summer one, is that you overlap with the graduating class. So it's kind of nice to have, to have that little bit of a support system. And then with the firm visits, so right now, during the summer, our students are going out on, doing every Thursday, we do a firm visit. And so the 5 firms listed here on the slide, so Deloitte, EY, PwC, BDO, and KPMG, those are the firms that students will be interviewing with, that they'll be doing their corporate residency with. So that's, it's a very exciting process. So again, we have a 100% internship placement rate. So 100% corporate residency placement rate. So that is part of the program. It's baked in, and then we have 100% full-time job placement rate over the last 4 years. So that is for students getting a job offer, either before graduation or after, or up to 3 months after graduation. So we have a great track record placing students for employment within the industry of public accounting. Another important thing to always say is that the internship is paid. I sometimes tend to forget that. The average salary for, the internship is about $14,500 for the 3 months. The range is really anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. So, but it is a paid position, and so that definitely helps. About 80% of our students will do their internships in Boston, but 20% will go elsewhere. So for our panelists, do you have any sense of if you're going to do a Boston internship, or go down to New York, or go elsewhere?
I know for me, I'm definitely staying in Boston. I'm from around the area, so and I was also in Connecticut for 4 years, so I'm just excited to be back in Boston.
I'm from New York City, so I'm planning on doing my residency in New York. For those who are interested in doing it in New York, it is a bit more of even though the process for doing it in Boston is very involved as well, because you'll have interviews, there's a ranking process. But if you do want to go to New York, it is an open market, so you're going to have to submit applications on your own, and make sure that you reach out to partners on your own, and you really do have to vouch for yourself to a certain degree.
Yeah, I plan on also staying in Boston. I am from Connecticut, so I do get a little homesick from now and again, but Boston's definitely a great place to be. And as far as like an outlook for a future, at least for me, it seems like the best opportunity.
Yeah, I'm also staying in Boston. I'm originally from England, so kind of figuring out, finding a new home, moving to Boston, and kind of just figuring it out.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, the internship process, it is in Boston, it is a matching process. As Roy had said, where you would interview with the firms and, basically it's like they would rank you, you would rank them, and then Julie Chassé, who's our director, sort of works her magic and has and places you. And so we do placement day. There's still a lot of opportunity there. So just to touch upon the application details, so you would apply online. We have a personal statement, so that's going to be about 800, 600 to 800 words, and then there's always an optional essay if you choose to add anything. So I'm just kind of curious with our panelists. So with your essay, was there anything that you felt you included that helped you stand out?
For me, I was able to get a lot of support from some of the professors at Nichols College, as well as a lot of different opportunity. So I started a business based on an invention for investing in real estate, and got a lot of different traction, was able to actually participate in Worcester Shark Tank. So that definitely had like a little bit of a standout opportunity compared to different applicants. And I think it definitely helped. And kind of with that, I was able to get letters of recommendation from professors that did help me, and that I worked under at separate things because I was also working like 2 to 3 jobs. So it was definitely very useful, just showing that like I do put in a lot of work, and how that did go a long way into getting into a rigorous program like this.
I worked a little bit prior to this program. Well, not a little bit. I worked for a year and a half at Prudential, which is a life insurance company, and I did some underwriting work for them. And I used some of my experience there to highlight some of the skills that I have coming into this program and tie that into why I want to pursue accounting.
I use the essay just to explain like the challenges that I've overcome as a person. And I think that really helped whoever read my application and the program really understand who I was and how hard that I do work and how far I've come in my own personal journey.
Similar to Jason, mine was more of a personal essay. At Connecticut College, I was a student athlete, so I used a lot of my experiences like throughout life that I've learned through sport and being able to like apply them into the workplace and how they would basically help me succeed in a program like this as well as the field being accounting.
The personal statement, it's definitely a great opportunity to, let the admissions team know a little bit more about you. So those are great examples. Thank you. So again, so you have your personal statement, your resume. So that's always good to include. You would need an unofficial copy of your transcript. So we don't need an official copy of your transcript sent to us at that time. So if you're a current student, finishing up your undergrad, definitely just pull like something from your student portal and send that to us. That's totally fine. If you've graduated, then, maybe, it's a good idea to have an official transcript sent to us because we'll be asking for it eventually. But during the application period, if you just have like a copy of your transcript, that's totally fine. If it's pulled from an undergrad student portal, that's totally fine. That's something that we need to have. And so again, 2 letters of recommendation. So those can be academic or professional. So academic from, a faculty member, an academic advisor that you might have had like a good, couple, maybe 2 or 3 years of like a relationship with through your undergrad career, a coach, that's always a good recommender as well. Professional from someone who's a manager or supervisor. So someone that you've worked for, not somebody that you worked with. So colleague or coworker, not such a great recommender, but definitely manager or supervisor. So for our panel, so I'm just curious as to who you picked for your letters of recommendation and why.
My first letter of recommendation was from my coach. I kind of picked him because I felt like he's someone who knew who I was, like what made me me. So I felt like he was a perfect person to explain my story and like why I belong in a place like this. And then my second was my accounting professor, who I also worked under. So he specifically got to see like my work ethic and how it can apply to this field.
I think Ryan and I had shared one, also accounting professor who was just someone who I went to as a mentor. And he also pushed me towards this program. So he knew everything about Northeastern's GSPA program, and everything about me as well. And then my second one was the CEO of a company who I worked for and interned for last summer. And I really had a great time there, and we built a relationship, and it was really cool to work like directly under a CEO. So I really valued his insight, and I thought he'd be perfect.
For my letter of recommendation, I did my accounting professor, for who I had for one semester, um, and then I also had my supervisor from work write me a letter of recommendation.
I had the chair of the finance department at my school write one of my letters of recommendation because for one of her classes, the student investment fund, I worked underneath her and then also got promoted the following semester. And then the other one was the chair and director of the data science department, who's also the dean of students.
Excellent, excellent. Those are all amazing examples of recommenders. Um, so thank you. We are test optional for GMAT and GRE. So those standardized tests, test optional. If you have a GMAT score or GRE, by all means, please submit it, and we will review that as part of our application process. But it's not required, so don't feel that you have to go out and sit for the GMAT. And again, if you're an international student that studied outside of the U.S., so if you are from Canada or Mexico, interested in like the MSA MBA program, maybe you went to a school outside of the U.S. That where English was not the language of instruction, then we would require IELTS or TOEFL. So those English proficiency language test scores are only if applicable. So that's just something to keep in mind. Typically there is $100 application fee, but if you contact me, my email is right there, k.frankel@northeastern.edu, and I can set you up with an application fee waiver code. So not all of our programs at D'Amore-McKim offer that, but we do for our accounting students. So deadlines again, we try to turn things around within 4 weeks. So applications are open now, which is somewhat of a new experience for us because usually applications would open in September. So we're going to wait and see if we get a small quantity of applications if we do like an early decisioning round. But right now, our first deadline is November 15th. It's the only deadline for international students. We will turn our admissions decisions around in about 4 weeks. So if you apply by November 15th, you should be receiving your decision by December 15th. And then again, we have a November 15th deadline and an April 1st deadline. So as you can see here, when the deadline, if you applied, then the decision notification date. After April 1st, everything is kind of rolling at that point because it gets so close to the start time for both the MSA and MSA MBA for the summer one term. And then just what to expect at Northeastern. So, experience-based learning through your internship, corporate relationships. One thing I also want to touch upon is just that it is it is both the MSA and the MSA MBA are very, academically rigorous programs. So the MS in accounting program, a 7-month program, but it's 30 credits. So you're doing the 30 credits, which would usually be like a 12-month program within 7 months. The MSA MBA is a 68 credit program. So you're doing 68 credits of coursework within 12 months. So at any given time, you're really, taking a double course load. So you're definitely going to get a lot of personalized support to help you academically with those programs. There's also our global alumni network, and hopefully launching you onto a successful accounting career path. Put this up really quickly. So this is our contact information. If you have any questions about anything in the slides, or the program, either the MS in Accounting or the MS in Accounting MBA, please don't hesitate to reach out. I guess one parting, question for our panelists. So if you could give some advice to a prospective student about being in an academically accelerated, rigorous program, what would that be?
I'd say, oh, you got it, Jason.
Okay. To start, I would say if there is somebody, or also you could ask Kellyanne or somebody in the office to connect you with an alumni to really understand what you are actually going through and what you're actually going to be doing. I think getting that personal like example from somebody would be really helpful. And another piece of advice would, I don't know, just be to understand getting like the mental like the right mental frame to understand what you're going through and to really like lock into what you're going to be going through.
Yeah, I would say similar to Jason, kind of my first thing would be, we've said it a billion times already, networking is huge. So if you could talk to someone from the class above, or if someone from your school has graduated from the program, talk to them to really understand like what you're about to go through and like the challenges that come from it, and but also the opportunities that come from it. And then secondly, for students coming into it, just find a group of people that you can work with. I know a lot of us just have groups of people that we sit down after class and we just lock in and get some work done. And that's something that just makes the program like doable and also like brings enjoyment to it.
Yeah, also just having some sort of system in place is also very huge. So, for instance, I show up to class anywhere from like 45 minutes to an hour early to get some work done, kind of lay out different things. Like if I know I have questions, have it written down so then it can be asked, as well as typically there's a lot of other people that show up early. So you can kind of do a little bit of a study group even before the class starts to get an idea of like, okay, maybe I didn't know this, but now I at least have a better idea. And then always after class, I make sure to go to the TA hours and go up to the GSBA office, because, any bit of help that you can get is just the little bit closer that you can get to success. But to the same token, like you might also have information that can help a lot of other people as well.
Just kind of to add on to John's point, because this is a graduate program, it is really important that your life outside of class is very, organized, and that you're, well rested. Not that, in undergrad, that's not a priority as well, but in undergrad, your housing is taken care of. A lot of your meals are taken care of. So just make sure you have a system in place where, your school life balance is okay, and that you can also find a place to live here, because the part of it is, and part of the program is that there isn't student housing available for the students of this program. So one of the things that I need to make sure before coming to Boston is, where I'm going to live. So that involved me talking to friends who live here, connecting with students that graduated from the program to see what they did and what that process is like. But Northeastern does have a lot of tools available for that as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for sharing your experiences in the program. So you're all amazing examples of our students in the MSA MBA, and I can't wait to see where you go for your internships. and then your stories, when you come back from your internship. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you to my panel, for spending some time, to talk about their experiences. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to gspa@northeastern.edu.